Over the last 11 years that the Competition Authority of Kenya has been in existence, a lot has changed within our environment. We have embraced the challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as embraced the opportunities for improvement such as offering e-services to the Kenyan public. After all, they are our main stakeholder. In January 2023, Mr. Wang'ombe Kariuki, our Director-General, will be leaving the stage after 12 years at the helm of the CAK. We have documented first-hand experiences with both internal and external stakeholders about his tenure and how it has impacted them personally, professionally, and most importantly, how it has contributed to enhanced service delivery to the Kenyan public. Have a listen.
My personal relationship with the CAK goes back to prior to CAK, when it was a Monopolies and Mergers Commission in Bima House, and that's where I first met Wang'ombe. And we have worked intensely with the authority, largely in the merger space, but more recently in the investigation space. There has been consistent progression in terms of the regulations that have come in, not just in the merger control. We've then had the integration into COMESA competition. We've then had the competition authority moving into other areas of enforcement of cartel behavior, abuse of dominance, consumer protection, and all of that has been world-class. Actually, the legislation that we have is very effective. The good thing is that the authority also has resources.
I reported to the authority on 2nd May 2012. I remember that morning very well because personally I'm an early bird. And I was shocked when I reported at CAK on the first day to be told that the Director-General was already in the office. So that morning as I interacted with him, I remember the then finance manager, Robert Barani, he could have joined us. And Mr. Kariuki gave us the vision he had for the authority. So the first step I remember, it was to have the HR instruments. This is basically the HR policy and a procedures manual, the career guidelines, the grading structure, and of critical importance, the salary structure. And when we started interviewing various candidates, Mr. Kariuki was so focused on the kind of the people we wanted. And I saw my job was just to help him attain that objective. Competition issues are very new in the market, and you find some of those competition issues like buyer power, issues related to definition of the market. There are some of the phenomena which were never taught at the university for those guys who undertake economics. But you find now immediately we started having these employees coming on board. They were facilitated and they were sent out to attend some of the most prestigious institutions and even conferences just to reskill them and equip them with the requisite skills to drive the agenda.
I have grown a lot. I have been a beneficiary of capacity building, both locally and internationally. I have been trained on emerging issues in competition policy and regulation. I am a champion of competition regulation in the digital era, which is one of the emerging issues that we are currently handling. I am also a trained forensic investigator. So what I can say is that my stay at the authority has been a learning opportunity. The leadership has been very supportive. They are involved in the work life of the employees, and they also look after our social life, by the way. So it's not just work, so there's an element of work-life balance. I can say I've seen commitment from leadership. So when you show an interest to grow in any area, they are willing to support you, be it with training or mentorship. Yes, so they are keen on staff growing.
The internship program is a program where the authority offers fresh university graduates the opportunity to apply the skills that they learn in school in order to enhance their employability and expose them to a real-life work environment.
I am currently under the Young Professional Program, which is one of the career development programs that are run by the Competition Authority of Kenya that is offered to master's graduates, that offers master's graduates an opportunity to explore the intersections of law and economics and learn more about competition and consumer protection law. During the one-year program, you get to interact with several departments through rotations. So you go through 4 rotations.
During my internship program, I was exposed to the functions of the legal department at the authority, which include in areas such as contracts management, where I was involved in the drafting and review of contracts that are signed by the authority. We also have the function of competition and consumer protection litigation, where I was involved in attending court on behalf of the authority in matters that the authority is engaged in the High Court and at the Competition Tribunal. I was involved in the development of legal advisories and advisory opinions to the authority's technical departments and our external stakeholders.
But if I was to rate the competition authority amongst all the other regulators that we deal with, I would say it is very much at the top in its professionalism, in its approachability, in its transparency, and just in the efficiency at which it does things. I think the adoption of technology by the authority has worked very well. So when we've been able to upload our submissions, whether it is for merger notifications, for other things, it has worked very well. We get instant acknowledgement, then the interaction is, you can see the progress of how things are going along. Even our meetings, adopting the virtual kind of meetings, has been very beneficial because clients from overseas can participate very easily without having the cost of coming all the way here for one meeting.
We have the portal that is a competition portal. That is a very key portal for the authority, whereby we engage our stakeholders who deal with our core mandate, mergers, enforcement, consumer protection, buyer power, all that are accessible through the portal. This portal is not just locally available, it is accessible from anywhere in the world. So our stakeholders in Kenya or within the region or in Africa or even abroad are able to log into the portal and make their request for anything that requires the attention of the authority. For the last 2 years, we have benefited quite much as an organization. One, we've managed to cut the cost of our consumables. That is the cost of printing papers, movement of files from here, manual way of sending letters to our various stakeholders. We have managed to cut down on those costs.
When the CMS was being introduced, some of the officers were not very convinced that the two of us, me and my colleague, we will adapt the change. They thought since we are too old, we wouldn't be able to grasp what the ICT, what it involves, like the downloading, scanning, downloading of the record, assigning and even tracking the record, since we had been used to manual kind of record management. It has made our work very easy in terms of efficiency, space, because we were lacking space to store our hard copy copies, and also the time taken to handle a case, because when DG wants request for a file and another officer maybe was working on that file, for physical file it was very, very hard for the two of them to work on the same subject at the same time.
One of the principles in accounting is transparency. While doing our day-to-day activities, we ensure there is transparency and accountability. This has enabled us to have accurate financial statements. This can be evidenced by the fact that for the last 7 years, we've had unqualified opinion for our financial statements from the Office of the Auditor General. We've submitted our financial statements to the FIRE Awards. Under the category of IPSAS accrual, we've been able to win for the last 5 years.
But one strategy he took was that he not begin by hard enforcement, he began by soft enforcement, creating awareness about the Competition Act and especially on the provisions of consumer protection, also the competition provisions. And afterwards, when the law is well known and we've been interacting, we can now interact with the companies. Now he began the hand enforcement, and you have seen a lot of growth. And all through he has been hands-on man. And if I may come to consumer protection, I've seen him come the strategy of prioritization of of matter, especially those issues that touch on the poor, the common mwananchi. If I may say, for example, some of the issues that he has handled when he has been as a Director-General is the issue of disclosure of charges. There was a time the common citizen did not know that he was being charged for transfer of money, the M-Pesa, or even the banking charges, the mobile banking when it came into place. And this is one of the initiatives that he did. There are other areas that we've seen him focus on, and especially on the foodstuffs, like the issue of edible oils, the flour, the issue of bread, for example. I mean, Kenyans do not know that there is information that is supposed to be given to them, and they would buy products not knowing that the information is key. A product that is safe can be unsafe just because there is no, the proper information not given to them. And this is a constitutional right under Article 46(1).
I'm very happy that when I read in the papers, I see a determination you made or a fine you levied. I'm always quite excited to see that the authority is really achieving the mandate for which it was actually established. And I'm very happy for Wang'ombe Kariuki because as he leaves the scene, I must say that the writers of the history of CAK will be kind enough to dedicate a chapter or two to Mr. Francis Wang'ombe Kariuki, Director-General, Competition Authority of Kenya, CAK personnel number 001.